Hi, Matt from Class A Sport Fishing. This is a July 28th report out of Rochester. Went out this morning, cleared the pier heads, went to our spot from yesterday, got out there. There was fish everywhere. They were streaking all over the screen, all over the Panoptics. And again, they had the muzzle on this morning. It was a really tough bite at first, then we started getting them. Yesterday we didn't have many. I think we only had one diver bite. Today, the first two fish we caught were on divers. Our diver bites were on, and this is the same old that I've been running, my Billy Baru. This is a green and Mirage fly. That's one of Blue Angel flies, and this paddle. The other side had the Hammer Time and something very similar with some green and Mirage in it. Really good. I really like these two paddles. They were going first thing this morning, and then they kind of slowed down, and I realized afterwards, because the other rods were going, I realized afterwards why they slowed down. The temperature was on the move, and I'll get to that in a second. Spoons that worked for us today were the silver carbon. Look at that, thing's all chewed up. That was pretty good. And then by far the man, and I have not run one of these yet this year, but it's going to go into the first string lineup for tomorrow, is this. And it's called the Green Knight. Got a little UV in it. They make a glow one too. Cracked one of these off today, and then I put 3 of them out. I put one on each copper. I ran a 400 copper and a 300 copper. The 400 took more bites than the 300, but they still took bites. Yesterday I couldn't get a sniff on a copper. It was all rigger shots. The rigger, I ended up putting one of those Green Knights on the rigger, and that on the 82 rigger, and that went. So I mentioned something about the temperature. Wind out in the lake dictates where all the temperature is. Today the wind was blowing out of the south and it wasn't really hard. It was pretty light. And that cold water was marching its way up in the water column. So I'm noticing after a while that my deep rigger wasn't getting bit and that my high rigger was getting bit. And I'm like, So I moved the temperature probe around, and I found out the warm cold water was pushing in. Now if I got further west from where I was fishing, the water was really cold. If I went back east from where I was fishing, the water was warmer. So you got to keep an eye on that. And not for nothing, I would rather fish without a fish finder than I would my fish hawk. So fish hawk is pretty important. I like to know the speed. I like to know the temperature. A lot of captains, I know some guys that don't have a probe. They just go out there and run their stuff and let it go, and it doesn't matter, But what I do, I like as much information as I can. And that right there, sometimes it's information overload, but for the most part, you can figure out where these fish like to be in the water column. Still, tons of bait up high. All the fish we carved today all had bait in them. I think we cleaned 10, lost 2 other good ones. Both cracked us off. One cracked us off behind the boat. And it was, a fish came in green and went nuts behind the boat and cracked us off. And that happens. It's part of fishing out there. I'm looking up at the flags now, and it's pretty stiff out of the north. So that temperature is going to be on the move. If anybody's out fishing tomorrow, the first thing I would do is take the temperature, find where that ice water, where the 45 degree, 46 degree water is, and then start setting your stuff above that. Put one in the ice water, set the rest of your stuff around that. So until the next report, get out there, enjoy the resource, be safe, and lots of fish out there to go after. Thanks. Have a good night.